Yeah, I've been doing this for a very long time. Um, and I've seen, you know, a lot of the cycles of trends and, ideas come and go and come back around. One of the ones that has been demonized over the last, you know, probably since around like 2015, is, you don't want fat loss to happen too fast. And it's based in good reasons. Most people, they're trying to do ridiculous things, like very extreme methods to try to lose fat quickly. But what ends up happening is they do stuff that's unsustainable, and then they don't learn how to actually keep the fat off, right? So I had a program that I called Momentum to Mastery, where the goal is we do want to lose a bunch of fat really quickly and see results, because that builds momentum, and that gets you to want to continue to do the stuff, because that's one of the things. It's like very difficult, like when you're doing something and you're not seeing any change. So, when with this framework, my idea was like, there's nothing wrong with rapid fat loss, um, provided that the way that you're doing it, you're learning how to make it sustainable, right? So, yes, we are doing rapid fat loss, but we are using, um, you know, the skill sets and um, the understanding, so that you're actually building mastery. You're not just doing like a crash diet, or like starving yourself, and then once maybe you lose a bunch of weight, like then you don't know actually how to reintroduce and incorporate regular eating, and so you just gain all the fat back. And a lot of times people end up gaining more than what they had originally. So I'm gonna walk you through like literally how I would go about doing this. Um, um, so first of all, obviously the most important thing is calories, and so you're gonna set your calories pretty low. It's still not as low as like a lot of these crash diets, but for example, and it's gonna be some for vast majority of people, it's gonna be somewhere between, depending on how tall you are, anywhere between 14, 1500 and 2000. Pretty much everybody will lose fat in that range. And so that'll kind of depend on like how big you are, how much fat you have to lose. Um, and if you want, and I can answer that for you too. Like if you have a question like, hey, I'm 5'11" and I'm 210, like I would put you at probably 1800 calories. Um, then, then what we do is, out of those, let's say 1800 calories, whatever it is, you're gonna start with your protein. You're gonna set it to around 1 point, or 1 gram per a pound of body weight. These are pretty standard things. Again, I try to simplify stuff. Like most women, you'll want anywhere. And this is based on like literally all the people for the last 15 years that I've personally set calories and numbers for. You'll set your protein anywhere from like 100 to 120 grams, and you're good. For most men, it's going to be somewhere between 150 to 180, and you're solid. And then your fats, you're going to keep that somewhere between 40 and 60 grams, and the remainder will be carbs. Okay. And so we keep the calories pretty low. Then what we do is we bump up our steps, our average steps. Um, good place, as always, is like, you start doing 10,000 steps. That doesn't take a lot of time. And that will start to get us, you know, our, 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 our output of calories higher. So now we're doing a fairly aggressive calorie cut. We've increased our activity. Now, what you need to know here is I like to have people peek around the corner, right? Like, I want you to know what's coming around the corner, okay? So, our goal is 1 to 2 pounds per week of fat loss, okay? And what's going to happen is you're going to run into various situations where it will make it challenging or frustrating to um, continue hitting those calories, right? And making your food and blah blah blah. So we'll cover all those different scenarios so that when they do come up, you're prepared. Um, so 1 second. Um, I don't like silly comments, stupid comments. So now the mastery part, right? So this is where all our tools come in. So one of the things that we want to learn is the food enjoyment matrix. Basically, this is how I look at food, and I look at two things: the enjoyment in relation to the calorie density. So we want high enjoyment and we want low calorie density. This is where the burrito diet comes from, right? Like, a burrito is extremely high enjoyment, and then if you make it yourself and make some small tweaks, you can keep the enjoyment very, very high, and you can keep your calories very, very low. So we'll learn tools like that. We'll learn, like, you'll start to weigh things. So you'll need a food scale in the kitchen, so that you start to get an idea of, like, what does 4 ounces look like? What does 30 grams look like? And when you start to weigh and measure things, you'll start to get an intuitive sense of, like, and it doesn't take very long to learn this. Like, there's probably only like 10 to 20 things that you really need to weigh a bunch of times to start picking up the patterns. So, for example, I've weighed enough things, so like I know that a typical serving of cheese is going to be an ounce, and then a lot of times it's listed as grams, right? And so a gram is going to be 28 ounces. I mean, 1 ounce is going to be 28 grams. So then what that's doing is that's setting you up for the future, the mastery part. So, like, down the road, um, let's say you're somewhere and you're going to get a cheeseburger, right, at some random restaurant. You're not going to be worried that, oh my God, if I eat this cheeseburger, I'm going to get fat. You'll know, oh, okay, there's a slice of cheese, the buns, and the meat. You can figure out that math very quickly if you have done the work in the first step, right? Um, weighing things, weighing different things over and over again, getting an idea. And so then, like I was saying, like, you're going over the scenarios. Like, I like to sit down with clients and go, like, okay, what are all the things that are coming up? Man, people do not know how to drive. All right, so we'll go, what are the things that are coming up in the next 3 months? Okay, like, we don't want to worry about the rest of your life at this point. Okay, we just want to think about, are there things coming up in the next 3 months? A work trip, maybe a vacation, maybe there's like uh, a week of wedding festivities coming up, whatever it is. We want to go over game plans for all those different situations. And this is why, like, sometimes when people go, oh, I don't want to start until after XYZ. That's fine, but, like, you're going to learn valuable skills, and we get to work on it together. We get to plan for it, so you know what to do when you get there. But also, um, you will then be able to do that in that situation again in the future. And of course, there's a lot of overlap. Like you'll have like very similar strategies and tactics, like whether you're traveling for work or for vacation. Like it's gonna be similar stuff. So I always encourage people to, like, I know, like, that thing of like, oh, I want to wait. Don't wait. Like, start, because it's going to help you develop the skill sets. So we'll go over that stuff. Like, I have a client who's like, okay, I'm going to go on vacation for a week to Hawaii. Okay, cool. We go over it. Like, here's what we're going to do on travel days. Here's how the food decisions we're going to make while we're there. Okay, these are the restaurants that we're thinking about, blah, 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 all that kind of stuff. So now what we're doing is we are trying to get as lean as possible, as quickly as possible. Maintenance is so much easier than getting there in the first place, right? Because once you know it, like, it's easy. It's on autopilot. So and really, like, I'm talking about rapid fat loss. The main things, the main two levers, like I always try to make things as simple and easy as possible. The main things that the main two levers are going to be your calories in, which we want to drop as low as we can, um, and activity level, which the main thing in activity level is our step count, right? Um, like working out, I usually just, like, whatever you want to, like, it really doesn't matter what type of workouts you do, or training, or strength training. It's all good. It all works. And it doesn't have that big of an impact on calories uh, required, right? Most of that part is going to come from just keeping the calories low themselves, and then your steps. So yeah, I mean, I think rapid fat loss is great. I think using a framework like Momentum to Mastery is great. And it's just a reminder of, like, there's many ways to do this thing. And it is a wonderful thing for everybody to do, for once in your life, get very lean. Um, it's just a lot of fun. It's way more fun being lean and ripped than it is not. I have been on all sides of it. I've been skinny fat, I've been fat, and I've been ripped. Um, and I will tell you, being ripped is the best out of all of that. And that's my opinion. Like, if you don't want to, then cool. Then you're probably not going to be watching this video. But yeah. So we'll leave it at that. As always, if you have questions, let me know. If you need